Yo, what up? It's your boy, When JJ Stone, aka Black Gritty. Welcome to another episode of Gritty Nights. I got guests, I got my crew with me, Black McAfee in the house. You know what it is, but something I usually don't do. Today, I do have an intro for the show, so let me just hop into that real quick. Go ahead, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Damn, fuck the 49ers. Yeah. Fuck the 49ers. Yeah. Fuck the 49ers. Y'all a sorry ass team. Thanks. Fuck the 49ers. Damn. I hate the 49ers. I hate y'all. I hate the 49ers. Fuck y'all. Bow, 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 bow. Y'all some booty cheeks. Hey, 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 hey. Y'all lost to the Chiefs. Bow, 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 bow. Y'all some booty cheeks. Hey, 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 hey. Super Bowl losing streak. Yeah. Hey, fuck the 49ers. Damn. I hate the 49ers. Facts. I hate that fucking team. Facts. Brock Purdy look like Jimmy Neutron friend Sheen. Timu Tom Brady got your quarterback from Sheen. Why I hate that team so much, where can I begin? Damn, fuck George Kittle, bro, he look like Ben Franklin. Man, fuck Brock Purdy, bro, he look like Ronald Reagan. Man, fuck Debo Samuel, bro, he look like the baby. Man, fuck the 49ers, I can't say it enough. Yeah, y'all thought y'all had this one, huh? Yeah, that shit was just a bluff. And I ain't trying to hear what you gotta say about my team. Cause we both went home with the same amount of rings. Facts. Bow, 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 bow. Y'all some booty cheeks. Hey, 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 hey. Y'all lost to the Chiefs. Bow, 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 bow. Y'all some booty cheeks. Hey, 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 hey. Super Bowl losers.
Oh, I'm sorry, it feels so good. So, before I bring my crew on, I got a guest with me today, and it's one of my favorite people. Known him for years. He took me out for a lovely breakfast a couple months back, and I should have had him on the show a long time ago. But if you ever needed to go to battle and you couldn't get George Wallace, I suggest you get Johnny Bougie Baby. What's up, John?
What's up? Timu Tom Brady, it took me out. I'm gonna refer to Brock Purdy as that for the rest of my life. Thank you so much for having me, man.
I appreciate you being here. You're out there in the world doing big things, helping a lot of people, and tonight you're gonna help me out, and I appreciate you so much for being here. My boy Jason, shout out to Jason. Jason sent me that. I was like, okay.
Nice work, Jason. I needed that one. So thank you very much.
It was great. It was great. Harry coming here too. So it's a $4 kind of night. And the first things first, we all hate the 49ers. We also hate everybody that's not us, but we could at least have respect for certain teams. We have respect for other organizations. And this organization, everyone hates them right now. Everyone is mad at the 49ers. Sauce Gardner's out here talking trash, and their cornerbacks are trying to respond like, y'all didn't even sniff the playoffs. Well, I mean, you sniff the playoffs or you get beat by the same team in the Super Bowl and you cry on national television. I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, right now, this is going to be my last week of hate. I'm going to hopefully reset.
I doubt that.
Yeah, well, I'm trying my best to be respectful. So I'll start with you, Bart. Did you enjoy the Super Bowl? Were the commercials good? Did you like the halftime show? Give me your overall perspective before we dig into the bits and grits.
Well, honest.
Yeah,
I only made it to the third quarter.
Oh no!
But I'm a total grandpa. I'm in bed by 9 most of the time. So like this you're getting peak Barchard with a coffee in them. But when I woke up and rewatched it again, I thought it was phenomenal. And was it just me, or were the commercials actually like pretty decent this go around? Like, I don't know. At least for the first half, I thought they were pretty good.
So we're by the time you went to bed, they were repeating already because the game, I don't know what was going on. People weren't paying. Jason, did you like the commercials?
Muted again?
Oh, I did mute him.
Well, I got important things to say.
I'm the worst. I can't be trusted.
Yeah, there was 4 or 5 good commercials, and then I always like when all the movie trailers come out during the Super Bowl too. I'm always excited to see all those.
Harry, do you like commercials?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that recent years have been like horrible in terms of commercials. So I think that this year was a big step up. I feel like the Michael Sarah V commercial is probably my favorite, especially because there was like kind of some social media like kind of guerrilla marketing going on before that. And he's hilarious. So I'm problematic superstar Michael Sarah. I enjoyed that one.
So I'm a Sarah V connoisseur. I tweeted out a picture. I got 2 cases of it. So you know what I mean? I'm out here trying to stay moisturized. For the most part, the commercials were a problem for me because there's like 3 that I like. And that's always the case. It's like everybody picks and chooses their favorite. But I felt the Lord spent a lot of money on the Super Bowl this year, and I'm not against the Lord, but I'm like, yo, Jesus out here getting back. And if this is what your donations every Sunday are going towards, instead of feeding the homeless or opening up a school or starting a local bank at your church, there are a plethora of things that Jesus would have done. Wine, you know what I mean? We could have gave wine to like 14, 15 cities, not communities, cities with the money that they were putting out. So, I mean, the commercials were fine. They always had there's hits and there's misses, but the Lord was out there remixing and representing like a DJ.
I saw a stat today real quick that about I don't know, did I fact check it? No, so maybe I'm wrong. But it was on somebody else's podcast on Instagram or something, and they were saying that we perceive there to be a lot of Starbuckses in this country. There's about 14,000, I think, Starbuckses, they said, and there's 400,000 churches. So they definitely got more money than Starbucks. So I feel like they got all the ads they want. So
speaking of Starbucks, shout out to the Dunkin' remix. That commercial was funny.
Man, that was my least favorite one. Are you kidding me? You guys like that?
So what's your take? What's your take on that one?
Anytime that fucking Ben and Matt get to use their Boston accents, they run like catnip. And it's just like, give it a fucking rest already. You made one good movie in Boston. You made one good action flick, The Town. Knock it off. You're not from there. Be like Bill Burr. You're from the suburbs. At least he admits it. Like, knock it off. That's all. I hate those guys.
They're the Doc Rivers of Boston movies. They made one or two hits, and now they're living off it for the rest of their life. I personally enjoy that thick, funky accent because it just clowns Bostonians for America, and that's how they think that they sound. So for me, I find it rather delightful to think that there's a bunch of bozos running around thinking Dunk Kings are the shit, and then they brought Tom Brady up in there to get glazed like a donut. So I appreciate all of it. When you're sitting there, you got Fat Joe looking at him like they crazy, and J-Lo like, look, bro, this ain't it. So I think of it a whole different way. But you're right, they are living off their infamy, just like Glenn Rivers is doing. So yeah, that's it on the commercials. I mean, like we said, always hit or miss and what people choose to love or hate. But they weren't ready for that overtime though. CBS was getting the extra commercials in for all their live shows and everything they had going on. But one other thing I saw too, when we're talking about the players and everybody hating, Fletcher had one in the bag, ready to go live. And sometimes things are just so sweet because it's like, look, I actually forgive Fletcher because he came out with that heat. I've been mad at Fletcher Cox since we went to that Super Bowl. He won my grandmama's blouse. My grandmother had the same blouse. Rest in peace, my mom. But she had that same outfit with a hat to match, and it just made me upset that a big dinosaur man like that I couldn't even touch with a bat wore that. It just made me upset. But he came out here with that heat and told Debo, I got something you ain't got, boy. Keep my team's name out your mammy jammy mouth. And that's all we want. Like, you lose the game, the next week you stop talking about it. You don't go out on Radio Row and talk trash about the team and what you would have done. And then when we lose, my favorite thing is a lot of 49ers like, the Eagles are celebrating and talking about the loss. When we lost to the Chiefs, all you said was, our quarterback would have beat them. If we would have had our quarterback in the game, we would have beat them. And you said it for a full year, the whole offseason, everything. So you went there, you were 100% healthy, you had your whole team. Greenlaw is a stupid animal who can't control himself and popped his Achilles because he's like a caged dog out there with no restraint. Oof. That's on him, but everybody else is healthy, right? So, Barger, why didn't they win the game?
Because Kyle Shanahan is the greatest coach until you got to make big decisions. Like, it's just, that man would punt a baby away if he knew that, like, I don't know. He is, I can't figure him out because he seems as though he's one of the best play callers I've ever seen. Some of the stuff that they were doing in the first half, like, had my jaw dropped. Like, if Kansas City didn't kick that field goal, I honestly thought they were going to lose the game in the first half there. But whatever follows him around, and I give him a ton of credit in the world because he has been able to basically, like, manipulate the QB cap for years, and still, like, to get back to the Super Bowl twice like that with two different quarterbacks is impressive. The whole, like, that's what I don't understand. Everybody knows that the 49ers are impressive, yet we know they're going to lose. Like, they don't have that thing, and it's only going to get worse from here. I don't know if you saw was it Brandon Ayuk's sister sitting in a car saying like, probably our last time at Levi Stadium in a quick TikTok, and you're just going, well, man, if they decide to, pay Brock Purdy next year, no one's really going to be around, and I think they're starting to make that cut now because they know they got to pay him and make a mark, and I don't think they're going to trade Brock Purdy or do anything crazy in the draft. Do you guys?
So, hold on. Not worried about the draft yet. We got to finish this roundtable then. Jason, Shannon Cant. What do you think? What do you think of Shannon Cant?
I mean, probably. You should know the rules when overtime is going to happen in the Super Bowl. It might be important to know the rules and how it's going to play out and have your players prep for that. But
write that down.
The Niners were a little bit too worried about, the complaining about the Chiefs holding and their practice field being too soft and the fire alarm going off. They had all the excuses going into the game, and then they weren't prepped when it really mattered.
Harry.
Man, yeah, I feel like that note about the kind of excuses being ready just kind of makes it seem like they were always prepared to not do the little thing, do the big thing, whatever the thing was that needed to be done to win the game. They were always having that kind of like backup excuse, planned it in. I will say with Shanahan, like I have seen that, the defense for the 49ers was just on the field for 7 minutes before overtime started. So I don't hate the idea that they kicked the ball, but if he's just made it up at the press conference that was the reasoning, like that they wanted the ball third, and things like I don't even know if he mentioned the defense being on the field for 7 minutes or not in that press conference, but it kind of, he has that kind of fail safe there as well in terms of, was that decision the best? I mean, I can't really kill him for taking the ball first, but I will say, I mean, at the end of the day, it's the defense of the Chiefs that did it again. I mean, they were blowing up plays. Chris Jones was having an amazing game. Brock Purdy, there were plays that if his legs were a little bit better, or maybe he called protections a little bit better at the line of scrimmage, he might have been able to get some guys that were open. We saw at the end of the game that Chris Jones kind of stopped him a couple times from wide open touchdowns. So it's just, it was a great game at the end. I feel like it was kind of boring at stages in the middle or the beginning when they couldn't really get the offenses going, and Shanahan got them rolling again, getting guys wide open to get them down the field in the late in the game. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's about the quarterbacks, and I mean, Mahomes, is he the GOAT yet already? I don't know, maybe, but Andy Reid, I will say, is the guy that's proven that he's making good decisions these days, and whether it's him or Spags or his roster of coaches, he hasn't been making late game errors like we used to have that kind of stigma about him. So good for the coaching for the Chiefs, and then the quarterback Mahomes always. But Purdy, unfortunately, he's gonna have to prove it right before we can kind of say he's that guy. So
Purdy is not the guy. Purdy's not the guy. Okay, so y'all said a whole bunch of stuff. It wasn't none of. Shanahan is a trash can. This man had enough balls to know that he had to go for on fourth down. He knew that he had to go for it. They scored that lucky touchdown. Jennings is the best quarterback in the game for the 49ers so far in the game, but they got a touchdown because he knew he had to have it on fourth down. And if you knew you had to have it on that fourth down because it's Patrick Mahomes and you're in the second half, then how did you not know how to play overtime? And then not only did you not know how to play it, your dumbass came out and said it openly on a public mic. Two of your players came out and reiterated that they didn't know what was going on, and you had 2 weeks to prepare. And you've been in a coach for like 30 years. Your dad was a coach for 90 years. Every day of your life, you woke up listening to a man giving you instructions, and you can't give other men instructions. You're trash. You never deserve to win a Super Bowl ever in your life. That's why you lost more 3 Super Bowls with 10 plus leads, because you're a moron. Even in the midst of battle, you knew you had to do it. And then you forgot in 15 minutes that you were going up against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. You are a horrible coach. And you know what? I'm sorry, Nick Sirianni, that I called you a moron, an idiot, and a person who can't speak in the public, because you went toe-to-toe with that man just like he did. But at least you knew the rules, you knew the game. You punted one time like a punk, but I think you'll learn from that mistake. Shanahan's had 3 shots at it in the big game and can't learn from his mistakes that you have to put your balls to the wall to win the game. So I'm sorry, Nick. I still think you're a doofus McGoofus, and you're probably only going to last 1 more year. But you're on par with the genius of Shanahan, who Shanna can't. So that was that. Just
and on your balls point, if you're going to take the ball in overtime first, score a fucking touchdown. Yep. That's all. I don't care if you defer or you take the ball, but you've got to put up 8 points there. 8. You've got to force them. You've got to revert. If if there's a 65% chance that you're going to win the football game by the time that it gets back to that third overtime, then you better make sure to end it before it gets there. Like, you've got to exactly, dude. You've got to put all that pressure right back on the Chiefs, and he kicked a fucking field goal. Unbelievable.
You have to go for it on fourth down. You have to treat the game like you're not going to get the ball back. I'm going to get the ball third. I've never in my life in football, in sports, I've heard a coach or a player say, I want to get the ball third. And I know the rule just changed 2 years ago, but that just doesn't make any sense to me. Everybody. So just to rephrase this about how you want to teach people, you go for it all. You want it all. You don't think you're going to get another go round. That's why I was so mad at Dan Campbell for telling those guys, I don't know if you're ever going to get back here. At least the punk 49ers have dreams and goals of getting back and having another shot at it, even though you just had 2 shots, which is more than most, to go out there and lose. You don't know if you're going to get the opportunity, but at least you're talking like you're going to have the opportunity. At least the Eagles talk like they're going to have the opportunity. But in that moment, you punked out on yourself. And you're right. He should have went for it on every fourth down. So something else you said, Barchi, that was Ayuk's girlfriend who has been sitting in there doing cargrams. And the Instagram video she put out today was, you don't know how, this is almost a quote verbatim because I have a great memory. You don't know how hard it is being the girlfriend or spouse of a football player, especially when they lose the big game. We have to cater to their needs. We have to be their assistants. We have to deal with their aggressions, that they're going to take it out on us. And if they take it out on us, we have to understand that it's not us that they're taking it out on, and it's not our fault. And I'm like,
What?
like, girl, what are you? And obviously that video got taken down very quickly because she's like talking way out of pocket. And this is why you keep your side chicks off of the gram. I mean, I'm just saying, unless we married, I prefer you to do TikToks with music only, please. I don't need you talking because now you're messing up the bag. You done made this man look very suspect and very bad, on top of the fact that they probably won't pay him anyway. Because if it wasn't for a lucky face interception, who wants Ayuk? I don't know. You want Ayuk, John? You want Ayuk or Harry? You want Ayuk?
I'm in, by the way.
I would take Ayuk.
I don't know. I don't know how the Eagles afford him or put him on the roster. But if he's available, I'm interested.
How do I mute the panel at once? Like, how do I just mute everybody?
Oh my God.
I need defense. Does he play defense?
Yeah, it's fair.
Does he play safety? Does he play
No. Come on, man. You think it's talent that's holding up the Eagles defense when Sean Desai got kicked out? Totally on purpose, by the way, and Matt Patricia takes over. Come on, man. This team needs a slot wide receiver so bad.
Well, that I won't deny. I think Ayuk want that. I'm a second number 2 fiddle wide receiver money. I don't think you want that. I'm the slot guy money. But if for the slot, yeah. See, shut up, y'all out here trying to.
Did you guys see the lineman, the offensive? I forget which offensive lineman it was, but he tweeted this morning, kind of like throwing the guard under the bus that missed, I guess, the Chris Jones block in the game, and then the guard tweeted at him like, "Oh man, I see what we're doing like today," type of thing, and then he responded being like, "I'm sorry, I was hungover this morning. I was like, down and out, depressed." But I'm just like, man,
something hungover, by the way.
Yeah, I'm like hungover. I will say, I feel like when I'm hungover, I'm in shambles. So I get it. I'm like, where I Twitch, I'm more fidgety than when I'm even drunk. So I get it. But at the same time, I would say the whole year long of them kind of bitching and complaining and about like we should have won, whining. I feel like that created this, like, instead of like building the team chemistry and the unity that they could have had, they had this like weird false scapegoat kind of energy that unified them. And now that they just like, I don't want to say they choked, but I mean, they definitely could have won the game, right? They were in position to win the game. They had a few errors here and there, a few plays they didn't make. So now it just feels like they're falling apart. And it's like, what the hell? I mean, we didn't fall apart. I feel like maybe there's guys thrown on the bus, but I don't remember any of this stuff after last year's Super Bowl with the Eagles. So at the end of the day, we're above them. I know we lost to the Chiefs. It's very similar, but like I'll take anything I can get with them kind of being the ones that are just, as down as possible right now.
And we went 10-1. And Harry jumped the gun on my storyline. I was getting there.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I was getting there. But, their turmoil and breakdown is just amusing me because then on top of that, you got to deal with Debo all the time, who has just been – him and Bosa have just been running their mouths. And watching Bosa be humbled after his blueprint comment, like the thing that cracks me up again, I'm addressing this whole episode to you 49ers because I got a lot of you guys follow me and I appreciate you for the views and all the hate comments. I appreciate you so much. I am fat, I do have a gap, and I am bald, but I get more bitches than you. Anyway, so the thing that kills me the most is these guys are out here talking the way they talk, and then you don't have a blueprint for overtime. You don't have a blueprint to beat the Chiefs. Like if you're out here giving out blueprints and you're harping on the Cowboys, in my lifetime, the Cowboys, I used to respect 49ers so much because it was always like everybody clowned on the Cowboys because the Cowboys did their thing. But this year, the 49ers are taking over that role of we're this and we're that. And I'm like, bro, all your successes on VHS. It's been 30 years for you. Yo, that's a bar. I should put that on. All your successes on VHS. You have no success in 4K. Like the last time you saw something, you got to break out a VCR to go watch it, or YouTube, and it's going to be fuzzy in 480. Like, dude, you have nothing to stand on. And I know I only got one. But let's put it this way. I mean, Betty White's, rest in peace, older Betty White was hot. You know what I mean? But a younger Betty White was fine, bro. If I could get the new, I would take the new one. You see what I'm saying? So in the last decade or so, I mean, I got one. You know what I mean? I've been to a couple. You know what I mean? McNabb lost, but I mean, at least I was there. Y'all out here not doing, and the Cowboys haven't even been to the dance. So for 49ers to act the way they act and now turn on themselves internally is insane to me. Because when you were dressing up at Halloween wearing black Air Force Ones and doing emo kid stuff coming into the Eagles link, I didn't hear none of that. And now all of a sudden everybody's acting like they don't know what to do or how to treat each other. Linemen talking about each other. Come on, y'all got the defense, man. They're going to fire the defensive coordinator now. Got him to the Super Bowl, and now everybody wants to fire him. Sounds familiar, right?
I can't believe that there were two people in the Super Bowl yelling at each other on Twitter. To Harry's and your point, like if there's not more finger pointing by one team, that's another just like Kyle Shanahan point. Why is this happening like that? Why is there is so much tension because they just believe that they deserved the trophy out of all the shit that happened to them this year, and I think that's what lost them the game. That's very much Kyle Shanahan. I deserve this. Yeah,
that's the right way to put it. The deserve thing. I think that's why it's embarrassing to see what they're doing right now. It's like, I mean, I feel they're even if they were like professionals that weren't on this level, you'd still want them to behave a certain way, and they're supposed to be this most stacked, like well-coached team in the NFL. Obviously, not most well-coached. So, I mean, it's embarrassing, and I'm gonna enjoy it. So
I have the internet built in my brain. I see everything before most people. So most times, like I said, Jay sent me something earlier, and I had already seen it. But he sent me something after we lost the game, and he sent me the Debo and them watching us lose, and them cheering and running off, and I was livid. I was like, "Why'd you send this to me?" Normally, like I said, he sends me stuff and people send me stuff. I've already seen it. Harry sends me stuff I saw 3 years ago in my mind because I'm on the future. But he sent me that, and I was so angry that I was like, now I'm like, why did you even send this to me? Like, I didn't want to see this anywhere because why are you so invested? Like, I noticed you get the number 1 seed, but to sit there with your executive and cheer on another team and then laugh, and then your coach says, oh, well, it's just, we're just excited to have number 1 seed. You fostered this kind of mentality. You fostered this weakness in men because that's not being a man. Being a man is, hey, we'll see you next year in the regular season. When the Eagles went out there and beat them, we know they knocked their quarterback out, but hey, block for him. We know we lost the Super Bowl, but hey, respect. The Chiefs did not clown us last year. Everything they said about the Eagles was respectful and humble and graceful. These dudes are out here, got marshmallow dancing, got Taylor Swift swinging from the balcony, and they're just clowning the 49ers. That's embarrassing.
Along with Michael Silver, a totally objective reporter who can't wait to show him that fucking video. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask everybody this question. I'm gonna start with you, Jason. So this is a real question. Like, sometimes we all listen to the radio. Barchi Booby Baby's been a part of the radio. So it's a job that you got to go out there and narrate things, and you got to do hyperboles and get the city hyped up and rah-rah. But I think I've got something that is just great that I haven't heard anybody else ask. And I watch it, like I said, I'm part of the universe. I know everything. Here's my question for you.
Okay.
This is how you know if your quarterback is good or not. Jason, would you right now bench Jalen Hurts for Tom Brady for 1 year to come back and play? He's guaranteed to come play for you. He's paying for a max spot. You still have to pay Jalen Hurts that max money for the year. He's going to sit on the bench. Even if Brady gets hurt, he can't come in. Are you going to bench your quarterback for 1 year of Tom Brady?
To be clear, 40-plus-year-old Tom Brady?
Yes, current Tom Brady.
No, I would not do that.
Barchard?
Hell no, not for a second.
Harry?
No, definitely not.
So I'm going to give you 2 examples of teams that I know guaranteed would do it. The Browns, the Miami Dolphins. They would definitely do it.
They tried to do it.
The
They did.
The Dolphins tried to do it,
Dolphins,
and the
yep.
Browns are desperate. Like, if I told them I could throw a ball 90 yards through a hula hoop, they'd hire me. So I know that those two franchises would do it. But you know who else would do it? The Sherwood, great franchise of the San Francisco 49ers. You went out there this year. Brock Purdy would have won and beat them if he was healthy. Had a whole offseason fully healthy, and you still tried to beg Tom Brady on his day off, which was a year, to come in and be your quarterback. You put that out in the East, and then it got leaked late in the season towards the playoff run that you were begging him to come. What do you think that does to your quarterback? If your team is so great and so stacked and so lauded, and you believe in Brock Purdy, who isn't a game manager, who's a leader of men, who's young and frisky and coming on, his record can't be denied. The only San Francisco 49 quarterback with a perfect QBR rating in a game. Why in God's name did you try to bring Tom Brady here? Because you guys just said you wouldn't do it, and that's honest truth. I wouldn't do it. I believe in Jalen Hurts. He's young. We paid him. I believe in his talents and for what the game is. But they had all that talent. They got more talent than us on defense. I'd say equal comparable talent on offense. If you take out McCaffrey, because McCaffrey, healthy is all world. He changes all games. But none of us would have done that. But the 49ers tried to do it. So I don't want to hear about how much you believed in Brock Purdy. I don't want to believe in how much Brock Purdy can win you a Super Bowl. Brock Purdy is Jimmy Garoppolo without the porn stars. And I'll take the stars, please. I will take the stars every time. Because you ran up with a guy who gave you one touchdown for one touchdown. Yeah, Jimmy G had 2 interceptions, but he helped you put up more points. So, I mean, what did Brock do that was so special? Besides almost lose to the NFC North, which we all said, how do you almost lose to the worst division? Both of them. You came so close, and you snuck it out. So Bartrey, if they're willing to do that, do you think they really believe in this guy? Do you think this guy is ever going to get them over the hump?
No. That's what I mean. I don't. Listen, it's Tom Brady and it's San Francisco, and that's like he watched Joe Montana. I get that. But this is going to be typical 49er stuff as long as Kyle is there. I don't really see an out for them either. You're going to have to reset this because you're not going to pay Brock. I know they're not going to pay Brock, just by what you said there. So yeah, I'm waiting for the Brock Purdy trade sometime next offseason because I don't really probably a Cleveland Brown, honestly, now that you put that in my head. That makes the most sense to me after you're done with the Deshaun Watson experiment and people are probably wanting him out of there, and he doesn't look that good either. So it's just the Browns will do anything stupid to try and make themselves a relevant franchise, and Brock Purdy in Cleveland seems pretty dead on to me next offseason.
I didn't even think about them trading them. That's great. So I'm going to give you guys your last statement. Last statement on the 49ers, Jason. Got anything extra you want to throw in there about these guys?
They're not winners. They're just finger pointers, and they're never going to win anything.
I believe that to be true, and I hope it to be true. Harry?
Man, the 49, I think it's just going to fall apart. They're going to kind of not be able to kind of keep that chemistry, lose the guys. I do think they're going to re-sign Purdy because he's young and they'll just, what else are they going to do? I mean, at this stage, but I also, my favorite bar from that video you played in the beginning, I don't know, it was hard to say. Jimmy Neutron's friend Sheen, that was a good one about Purdy. And then they had the George Kittle looks like Ben Franklin. Those are my top 2. So just throw those out there.
Sorry. Automatic. It's automatic. I'm sorry.
You're good. So again, the other thing too that cracked me up was everybody was telling us about Aguilar in the game with the Ravens and how the Eagles let him go. And how I was like, guess what? Aguilar had just as many yards combined as Kittle, Ayuk, and Debo. Debo is a baby back bitch. And what did you do when the lights were brightest? And Kittle, you came out there with a fuck Dallas shirt. Love you, appreciate you. But where were you at, bro? You didn't show up for your guy. And Ayuk, if maybe Brock would have thrown one of those interceptions, he throws 3 interceptions a game. I give him credit for that. He throws 3 a game that nobody catches. But if he would have threw one on somebody's face, maybe you could have got a ball because obviously any other way it wasn't going down. Great defensive battle. Spags was out there doing it. Lyman forget the block, and it's just embarrassing for you. And I don't believe that they're ever going to win. But if something happens by the grace of goodness and we don't make it there, I would love for them to go again, have their heart broken again, just so that I can laugh at them one more time because pain is beautiful, especially when it's not my team's pain. So I do think they're going to sign Brock because I think he's going to take that baby back bitch deal because he's just happy to be here and he wants to get out of his roommate's apartment. So you give him like $20 million and he's going to be like, oh, thank you so much. Oh, shucks, I appreciate you for having me here. Before we get into the Eagle stuff, Justin from Tennessee, if you're still watching, text me on the text line. You should know the number. I'll get you in here so you can talk to Barchi Booby Baby and say hi to my guy. But the Eagles got some decisions to make. Now, I'm so happy that this happened before the show because I hate having the speculation because Hassan Reddick wants to be traded and he hates Philadelphia and nobody loves him and everything's horrible. We got to burn the city down. Well, my man came out and tweeted, hey, I didn't ask for a trade. I asked for a raise. I asked for fair market value for what I deserve and what I've been doing. Before I let anybody talk, this man came out in a cast, played 3 games, went out there and balled, got punked out by a coaching change, got dropped back more times than my hairline. And I'm bald, ladies and gentlemen, for the audio listeners, because I know most of y'all listen on the audio. But he had all that happen to him, and he still ended up with double-digit sacks, which he has provided each and every year for service in Philadelphia. And all these young Georgia Bulldogs are not panning out. So if you let this man go, I might cry. And the only time I've cried about the Eagles is over Cunningham, the Super Bowl victory, and that's pretty much it. So don't let this man go. We ain't got much on the defense to cheer about. So, Barcher, you're paying him, you're trading him. What you got going on? You got the purse, you got the money. What do you want to do?
I mean, if it's between paying Josh Sweat and paying Hassan Reddick, the decision's pretty easy. You know, like I hope he stays around, but I don't think that's going to happen. Right? Like they were kind of telling us this at the beginning of the season. Jeff McLean, everybody got pissed there. It's easy to get pissed at Jeff McLean. Yeah. But they were telling us, hey, have you gotten a raise yet? Do you want a raise? Do you want to get paid? And he's like, of course I do. And I thought he was basically saying I thought I was going to. I know for a fact that when someone is trying to move you out, and I'll actually back up, who is it? Rob Maddie, that also was tweeting this out today too. When the franchise wants to move on from you, it's going to talk shit about you before it makes a move. You know, like it's going to put that character thing out there. And I do believe that that's what's happening here. Like the message is clear. We don't want you back, and enjoy Matt Patricia's sprinting for on the way out, basically, which I don't know. And we can keep going with Reddick, but dude, I have no idea how to evaluate this defense. No idea. Like the Bulldogs look like they're, and by the way, since we're here, fuck you, Baldy, you piece of shit, for calling Jordan Davis fat right after a DC change and saying that's, you know, he's fat, he's not even playing that well. And we just ran with it, by the way. So like that, Hassan Reddick, Jalen Carter, you know, not as good as the beginning of the year. You can make arguments for all these guys not to stay, but I think it'd be really stupid to move on from Hassan Reddick.
So when I think about the teams doing that, it instantly just hurt my heart because I thought about Deshaun, I thought about like Shady. Like I hate that kind of stuff, but you're right, that is what the team does, and they leak it out. Jason, you're paying them, you're trading them. What are you doing?
So obviously, ideally, you'd like to keep him, but if you look at around the league, pass rushers, when they get to 30, tend to trend downward, and he's 29, getting closer to 30. So I think now would be a great time to trade him and get some value. But then the issue is they have no one to play that spot.
Well, we got Smith. We got Smith out there. You know,
they have no one to play that spot.
My bad. Harry, don't you roll your eyes at me, young man. What's your thought, Harry? Out here eye rolling.
I mean, like you guys are saying, Hassan was our sacker last year, whatever. He was the only guy. I mean, he was the only guy. Then we ruined the scheme for him. It's just like we need that. We need something. I feel like watching the Eagles play last several years with the defensive scheme that we have, to not get the elite pressure that we need to kind of make the, you know, secondary kind of do their job or be able to do their job, or the linebackers to cover somebody for, you know, longer than they need to. I mean, it's like we need pass rushers so badly. And I do feel like Hassan saying what he's saying is good for, you know, bad for him, but good leverage for the team, kind of him saying that out loud in the media. I don't know. At the end of the day, there's all these like vibe aspects to this stuff. I feel like Jason Kelsey coming back would be a huge factor in kind of like Hassan taking a little bit less and staying and things like that nature. So I'm not ruling it all out. I really do kind of, even though it's like what we, the best we could get in terms of the coaching staff and the coaching signings we've been making. I do kind of like how we're putting together our coaching staff on offense and defense. So, I think it's going to come down to those vibe type of things. And if we can get something great for him versus just pay him a little bit more and keep the one pass rusher we have. But I would want to keep him.
We'll be lucky to get a second round pick. And before Archer came and broke my heart about the whole damn thing, in my mind, I thought this was one of those, hey, you want to leave me, go out to the bar and see what kind of toad tries to give you a drink. And if the toad buys you like a nice shot, hey, I'll match the shot. If they want to give you 6 shots, then go home drunk with them and wake up in their freaky bed. I can't do all that, but I was hoping that somebody would give him an offer and say X amount of dollars, and how he's like, hey, I can match that, or hey, you stay home, you already bought a crib, I can give you like $2 million less. That's what I'm hoping the situation turns out to be. And by his comments and him trying to save face and grace with the team, that leaves the door open to that. And that is my hope and my dream. But then Barcher came and crushed it, rolled a mountain down and a snow cap, and then reality hits, and then I'm upset. But in my mind, that's how I hope it happens. But let me go to the line with somebody who's happy and a positive person. Let me see if I can get my life together in 2 seconds. And I'm just so upset because everything you said is actually right, and I know that's how it's going to go down.
I would love to sign Chris Jones. Just a little comment of this comment. I mean, there's no chance that's happening, but I would love to.
Well, again, I speak of the radio. A guy today is like, "Oh, why don't we trade Hassan for Parsons?" And they're like,
oh yeah, definitely.
Like Micah Parsons? I'm like,
I'll do that.
I almost ran my head through the radio, and I'm like, what? What?
Did he mean Chandler Parsons for the Sixers?
And
right. Exactly.
And we still got to pay him $1.5 billion because he's about to break the bank. Hello, feller.
What's up?
Hey,
you're on the radio. Say hi to Barchi.
What's happening, fellers? How y'all doing?
Good, Justin. Good to hear from you, man.
What's
It's
up?
Been a long time.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you, but I can't hear anybody else.
Huh.
Uh-oh.
You can't hear anybody else.
It's the technology.
Callers for yourself. I see.
Hey, look. Now, does somebody else say something?
Something.
Something. I am saying something. You got me,
Okay,
Justin?
now you hear him. There you go. There you go.
Yes, there we go. What's up, Justin? Good to hear from you, pal.
That was all of them. Everybody said something simultaneously because they follow instructions.
We got him?
Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good, Justin. What do you want to get in on?
Can you guys hear him? I can't.
No, I can't hear him now.
I was going to say something flipped. Something flipped.
So now
He's in my ears.
You added Jason and you removed me and John. That's what I think happened.
So
Oh man.
Okay,
This is
technology
going great.
problem. This is
John's the one man he's here to talk to. I mean,
John is the one person here to talk to. You can't hear John, but John can hear. I don't really know.
Someone didn't mix minus properly today.
I sure
did.
did, and I'm looking at the button, and the button says it's buttoning, and then I did the thing.
You tried turning it off and turning back on again. Just
Just
a theory.
It works every time.
I've had calls before, and this was never an issue. Now because he wants to talk to Barcher, this issue. I'm sorry, Justin. I can't fix it. I don't know.
We can.
You
I don't
not
know if this is a stupid idea.
Can you not hear me now?
Oh, I hear him.
I got you. I got him now.
Yep.
Oh, now you hear him? I fixed it. Of course I know.
Fixed it. Hey.
Professional, yeah. All right, now Justin. Now start all over again for the 4th time. Happy to see you. Long time. You know it's been a long. I love you, Barton. I know talked to you for a long time. I've been called. That's what you're saying. Continue, Justin.
Exactly, John. You may go way back, and I really, real quick before I get into my point, I still have a video saved of you and James doing that dance in the studio, doing all the single ladies dance. You keep pointing at your ring finger. I have that bookmark in my Twitter feed, brother. That is just my happy. Like when I'm down, I pull that up and watch.
I gotta find that video.
2017
Real
was. I
quick,
wish I
what
could
do y'all
relive that
think
season.
Shanahan would be if they hadn't had Brock Purdy. Do you think he would have found somebody else? Because we all believe Trey Lance ain't it. He didn't. They traded him for a reason. So what would have happened with Shanahan and Lynch had Brock Purdy not turned out to be this really good game manager that he is? Now we all believe he's not the end all be all, and I'm not sure that they re-sign him, because if they do, they're not going to be able to have all these amazing weapons around him. They're not going to be able to afford everybody that they need to do this again, and that's why they did it. But if they hadn't have landed on Purdy as Mr. Irrelevant,
Right.
where would he be?
Well, right now I think they still have another year without having to pay him, right? So they got him. They got him for one more year without having to pay him. So that, they still got that going. Even though other people want to get paid now, that's what happens when you lose the Super Bowl. Other people are going to come poach your guys. A lot of guys' contracts are going to be up, so they still have the grace of that. But at this point, they did get Brock Purdy, and they don't, for the Shanahan system to work. It's just like his dad. Like, I shouldn't say that. Elway was great, but the system works. It's a plug and play system. The problem is that they're having is when you get to the big game, the plug and play doesn't work because everybody knows how to defend the plug and play. So when you get to the big game, you're matching elite competition. Throughout the playoffs, you're matching good competition. But when the pressure comes and you don't have a guy who can handle the pressure, Garoppolo was great all through the regular season. That's how he got contracts. When Brady went down, he was fine. He didn't go to Super Bowl and win one with that team that Brady went and did a year after he left. He didn't succeed in the postseason where Brady did year after year, even if he didn't make it to Super Bowl. So you get him there, and it's the same thing. Yeah, he looks great in the regular season. He'll get you through the playoff games. You're winning with the defense, and it's okay. But when you need the guy to make the plays, he won't do it. And Brock, they have those videos of him in college where he's shaking when the game's on the line. His hands are shaking.
Oh my God.
And his hands are visibly shaking, like he's freaked out. And it's like, he went toe to toe with Jalen Hurts and he threw for 500 yards. He had a game against Baker Mayfield. It was like a video game. He threw for like 600 and something yards and still lost. And he still ended up losing to Jalen Hurts. He can do certain things, but the pressure, you can see it. He stood there and he had the guy in his face. That's what you get paid for. Not that he's getting paid, but that's what the quarterback's job is to do, to deliver that ball and you get smacked in the mouth. And if you're going to be the game manager, the non-running back guy, you have to make those throws. He missed wide open throws too.
That's what happens when you go to Iowa State.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, he would have had, I don't know, like the difference is the pressure.
Yeah. Okay,
that's just his second year in the league. But on that play where they wound up having to kick a field goal before, he had Jawan Jennings open, but there was just too much pressure in his face. And then on the flip side, you look at Patrick Mahomes. Anytime there was pressure in his face, he knew where the hot read was. He knew where to go with it. That's the difference in best quarterback in the league by far, hands down, to Brock Purdy. So I don't know that the 49ers, without an elite quarterback, they're not going to be able to pay him elite money and keep McCaffrey and Debo and Bosa and Werner and all those just amazing weapons they got because they have him on such a cheap contract. But I was just wondering your opinion, like you said, it is plug and play, but they spent a lot of assets to move up to get Trey Lance. And he was a bust. They traded up to 3 overall, I think, maybe, or 4. And that was a big swing and a miss, and they got lucky because they got Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
So,
and
where do y'all think they go from here? Because I'm hearing things about possibly Kirk Cousins.
Oh, where?
Money.
That makes
I read
a lot of sense, actually.
That's who Shanahan wanted originally, and then they traded for Garoppolo.
If you put Cousins in that game in that Super Bowl, do you think that the Niners win? I mean, I think that's an interesting question.
I can only imagine how much better that offense would probably be with a Kirk Cousins.
No, so Harry just said it. Kirk Cousins is the same thing. Pressure bust pipes. Kurt, I don't know. He's had great teams, maybe not like the best teams, but like he falls apart in the playoffs. He's had a lot of good teams that he's taken with the Vikings, and they just couldn't get the job done. They choke, and he makes bad throws. So, I mean, I don't know. And to answer your question, Justin, yes, they would, because the 49ers are trash pandas. That's why they tried to go out there and get Tom Brady. So if they could upgrade and get a real quarterback, they would if they could. But that's the other thing, too, just to say that Lynch, everybody talks about how great the 49ers are at drafting and all this kind of stuff. They actually luck out on certain things. When you're bad for so long, you can draft high in the draft and get a lot of defensive guys and then mold them into something. Cool story. Then on your offense, you can't get a quarterback because you trade all those assets away and then you lucked into Mr. Relevant. You literally lucked into him. If you wouldn't have had the last pick, somebody else might not have taken him. He would have went undrafted, and you would have never heard this man's name in your life. He'd have been on practice squad if he was lucky. So, I mean, thanks for the call, Justin. Say goodbye to
later, Justin.
Barker.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks,
John
Justin.
Boy, I love you, man. It's I hope to get to talk to you a little bit more here in the future. I know it's been a while, and send me your thoughts on this Roadhouse remake because I'm a Roadhouse buddy, man. I'm gonna get out there. I love you boys, man.
Love
Appreciate
you, too,
you,
man.
Justin.
Thanks for calling, man. I will say this. I have heard from every LA friend possible that is a dog shit movie. Please don't watch it.
The new one?
Everyone has said that is just.
We did a reaction to the first one. The first one was great. I watched the first one last week. Yeah, we talked about it. I was incredible.
Intentionally supposed to be serious, and it ended up hilarious. That's why it was
very entertaining.
Right?
Now
you've moved that to a UFC fighter and direct to streaming, and that's just with Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal could put a butt in a seat. Like, ugh.
The director's really, not to change it, but the director's like really pissed off about it because he considered it to be his like tour de force best thing he's ever made. So to hear, I haven't seen it, whatever, but
didn't show up to the premiere as a protest,
right? Exactly, because it went straight to streaming. But also, again, at the end of the day, if it's going to be a spectacle of a movie and maybe be dumb and not the most entertaining on a smaller screen, like definitely would be better in theaters. But whatever. I watched Roadhouse half on my phone, and I was the first one when I was at the gym, and I was like, "This is fucking dope." Swayze's killing it. Not Jay. I could talk about Swayze more, but what you got for us, Mike?
The last episode we went Swayze crazy.
Yeah.
And shout out to Kyle Quinn, my nephew out there on the radio. He doesn't watch any movies before 2000 because he said there's not any good movies out there. There's only a couple good movies. I'm out here trying to teach the youth. So we had Harry watch that movie, and it's great. And then Barcher, man, you send me your address because you are in a safe location. And this is the third time you done said something to make me want to snatch you up. Let me tell you something, okay? Roadhouse is my house, and it's a very, very, very fine house. And I don't expect it to win an Oscar, okay? I need to see grown men get bitch slapped and smacked up, and I need explosions, and I need women coming out of the water in slow motion. That's really all I need. I don't need a whole drama series. I don't need to have any kind of feelings emotionally besides the fact of me thinking that I too could Jake Gyllenhaal somebody up. You know what I mean? I think I could Jack Gyllenhaal somebody. I know you're connected with the community, but again, not everything needs to be an Oscar. You let me have my joy.
What are you talking about? You think I'm defending Roadhouse like it's some beautiful cinema? It was a shitty 80s movie that we all loved for the exact reasons you just said.
That's right.
And there's no reason to recreate it because it was perfect. It was perfect the way it is. And now you're going, you know what this new generation needs? A fucking UFC fighter to go kick the shit out of somebody in a parking lot. Well, it's just like, I can watch that every fucking Friday night.
Sometimes crappy remakes give a boost to the original.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. I watched the original because of that. So
yeah, and Harry never watched it. We talked about. I had my daughter and a girl I'm talking to watch it, and I've already told the story like 3 times in the show. But like they were oohing and ahhing in the other room, and I was like, "Oh, Patrick got you!" Huh? They're like, yeah, "We got here doing it." And I was like, 16 and a 30-year-old, they was both in there. Like I was like, "Yeah, Patrick, that dude, still to this day." So just a quick break before we talk about the other sports in the city. Then I had Harry do some other homework on the Patrick Swayze tip. You went and watched Point Break. What did you think of Point Break, Harry?
Man, I mean, it was not. It was like a time jump for me because I saw Roadhouse, and then this is like was his 90s, late 90s or mid 90s Swayze. So it's like a new rugged kind of look. So again, I was still very impressed with Swayze, and I feel like he must do he did some taekwondo in Roadhouse, actually, some of like kind of little just feng shui stuff. I feel like that's his style of fighting. We talked about, is he a real fighter? Definitely more real than like Steven Seagal and stuff like that. So I would say like he's got the charisma again. Keanu Reeves, young Keanu was killing it in that movie. Gary Busey was killing it. I feel like, I've definitely seen Busey in some of the 90s, 80s movies, and he's always good. But now, obviously, we all know Gary Busey as like I don't even know, like a Muppet, basically, like kind of like a crazy person. So, but no, it was dope. I mean, the visuals of the surfing and kind of, like you said, it was Fast and Furious with surfing, basically, how you described it to me. And I think that was a very good way to describe it. Again, stupid kind of like were moments, the most Oscar-winning potential sort of things? No, but I mean, it was a very, again, I see how it's a guilty pleasure movie for people. Johnny Utah, I see why he's like a cult kind of classic sort of character. I mean, all these different things. So I enjoyed it. I'm definitely gonna have to find more. I mean, like Dirty Dancing might be the next one, just because I need something, man.
I got one for you.
All right,
Bart, give me two, because this is what
Utah. Give me two.
we're giving the young youth some homework, so we got to give them projects.
This is a deep one, and it's probably not a big on like the Swayze chart, but Green Dragon is a phenomenal good movie with Forrest Whitaker and Patrick Swayze.
Okay.
It's a I don't know if it's a true story, but it's maybe it's based on it.
It seems based on it.
1975 Vietnam. It is a great
wow.
flick. Yeah, it's a great
I had
flick.
no idea that he was in anything like that. Jeez.
I believe Swayze has a mustache in that, if I recall.
Really?
I probably haven't watched that since like 95. I was in high school last time I watched it. So I'm going to rewatch that too. So if we're on the watch train,
okay,
that one. And you can think of another one, Barcher, because like I said, we're giving the kid homework.
Like, is it too on? Have you seen Ghost?
I've seen Ghost for sure. I don't want to cry. I want to get some. I want some energy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to watch Swayze die and be a ghost.
Justin from Tennessee said Next to Kin. That's a good one too.
Okay,
that's actually one I haven't seen, Justin. So I got to get on that. Thank you for that.
Now everybody's getting more. Have you seen these, Jason?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want a ridiculous one?
I want as many as you got. I mean, at this point,
Young Bloods. That is. With who else? Rob Lowe's in that too. So like,
okay,
it's all about. It's the dumbest hockey movie you've ever watched.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Hockey movie you've ever watched. So
hockey movies, there's a lot of good hockey movies.
Keanu Reeves is in it also. So.
Really?
Oh, he is. Yeah. That's right.
He's the goalie.
Hey, dude, he's an ageless wonder, boy. He is an ageless wonder.
And you see some baby John Wick stuff too. I will say with the Point Break, you see him kind of hitting the targets and all this and that in the beginning, and it's cool. So anyway, but yeah, you got to decide which one of those movies is for next week because I'm definitely on the
Wong Fu, excellent choice as well.
Tu Wong Fu, okay, damn, I didn't even know. I thought I was like kind of already tapped out. This is dope.
Nah, we're like I said, we're gonna go every week now.
Oh, and I got to shout out Kate real quick. She had me in tears with calling Kirk Cousins Cole's Cash dad.
Oh yeah,
I got to use that.
Is The Outsiders the one like the Western with Kurt Douglas? Is that?
No, it's the Socias. The Socias and the. Which one are you talking about?
I'm mixing Swayze up with what's his? He was Batman. He is like a throat thing now. What's his name?
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer. I was mixing them up for a second. The mustache, and I don't know.
I never think of Batman and Val Kilmer together. So
right, I know. He was obviously. I think I was probably born like around when that one came out. So that was the early stage Batman for me. But anyway.
All right. So
I got one more funny movie. You ready for it?
Yeah.
The 49ers passing on Patrick Mahomes because they thought they swindled Chicago.
Oh my god!
Well, I mean. The whole passing on players thing in drafts, unless you're like passed on like Lamar, where it like went forever, I can't really say anything. Like Aaron Rodgers, like sitting there and them acting like it was like some big thing. Like, dude, you also sat for 3 or 4 years. Like that's the biggest pain in my life. If you're a Bears fan, why wouldn't you take a lesson from the Packers? Stop throwing these guys out there when you have no weapons. Everybody's like, oh, what should they do? Fields isn't owed a contract next year. I am drafting Caleb Williams, and he is not playing a game, at least until after the bye week. And if the bye week comes before the trade deadline, I will trade Fields for a first and a second and a third, and then let him finish out the season. But I'm not starting him out there day one against those Lions for no reason. That's why they keep faltering. Because besides the dudes out here wearing a dress and painting his fingernails, which I have no problem with, besides the fact he cried to his mommy over and over and over again after college games, which was weird to me. Not the dresses. I mean, fashion people wear kilts all the time. Like I said, Fletcher Cox, grown-ass man, he dressed like my grandma. That's fine. But the crying after the games would kill me. But why don't the Bears just sit tight, draft the guy, and let him sit and learn and watch at least for a year when you don't have to pay Fields yet? What do you think about that, Barchard?
You're gonna hate this. I actually think it's like, unless you are going to be in the same system and you know that new incoming quarterback is gonna be in the same system. Unfortunately, I don't think that's the Bears. Like, it's just you're gonna rotate head coaches as much as you are gonna do QBs. I wouldn't draft anybody if I was the Bears. Hold on to Justin Fields and say goodbye to Caleb Williams. Like, I would go get a loot personally, but like, I don't think everybody can be Jordan Love in the Green Bay Packers. Like, LaFleur was there and still is there. That's why they could do it. Mike McCarthy was there. That's why they could still do it. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think development in the NFL is severely underrated and no one really does it. And at the same time, I don't think a QB should just sit. If you got it, you got it. If you got the weapons, go for it, because that's your window. That's the least amount that kid is going to get paid for the next 3 to 5 years. So you can't wait anymore, unfortunately.
So, Jason, write this down. Don't have Barcher back on. Oh, is my mic on?
Yeah.
Sorry. Because, the common sense, reasonable things, making points I don't like because they make sense and sound good. I don't like any of that, okay? I don't want any of that smart stuff.
I'll remember that for next time if I remember wrong. Yeah.
The Flyers are on a 3-game winning streak after the All-Star break, which we talked about last week. You don't believe in All-Star break. And nobody wants to talk about the Flyers. And I get it. And I understand. I'm really scared to talk about the Flyers. I'm out here appropriating with my black gritty lifestyle. So I try to be as calm as possible until we get to the playoffs and I can go beg for somebody to allow me to do what I'm doing without getting in trouble. But man alive, they're fun to watch. I turn on the games more this year than I have ever. And I turned them on in anger the first time I saw a clip of them wearing a dog mask. And I'm like, what are we doing? This is stupid. I was just mad. So I'm like, now I got to watch to find out what these dogs think they do. And I'm like, oh, shit, they out here skating. Okay. And then we had the Hart thing. He had to go off and be with the other Fab Five of weirdos and what they got going on. And we solidified. And the Flyers are just fun to watch because even when they're down, they come back. They're like, down 2, they come back, they go 3, they're down 4. Like, they're just playing really well right now. Jason, you watch any Flyers games? I know you were sitting front row and didn't invite me. You took your family instead of me. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. Sitting up against the glass, best seat in the house. Never had a seat like that in my life. I didn't nobody call me. But anyway, you been watching the Flyers, Jason?
Hey, I called in the Black Gritty Connects to get that seat. You know what I mean, I had to, use who I know. That's right. What I do.
That's right.
But they're like a guilty pleasure, and every time I start to watch them, they just go downhill. I feel like I'm the biggest mush in the world for the Flyers. I'm like, oh, they're doing good. I won't watch. And I'm like, I'm gonna give a little peek and say what's up. And I'm like, what's up? And they're like, 3-game losing streak. I'm like, my bad. Sorry. Like, and it's just every time I try to get into it, things go bad.
Yeah. Harry, you watching any Flyers right now?
I usually watch like highlights of the games afterwards, but I mean, I will say I also catch the press conferences too, and I really am a big. I always talk about Tortorella, but again, the Couturier, I think that he scored a goal, and then there was asked Tortorella about kind of, was that an FU to? Or Tortorella's like, yeah, it's totally an FU to me, and that's what I like about the players. I think he was yelling at Couturier for something during the game and kind of just screaming his ear off. But again, he fires the players up. I feel like they trust him too, and if you trust a coach to kind of, scream at you when stuff's not going right, and then that kind of motivates you, and you see the results like that, and then he speaks the way he spoke about you after the end of the game and in the press conference. I mean, like, all of that together just makes me so excited for the team going forward. Again, players will come. I believe in the talent evaluation with the kind of veteran coaching staff that we have, but also kind of guys who have played with Briere and Jonesy. So again, overall, very excited. The winning is kind of almost just like, it's like cherry on top right now because the vibes are great. And I talk about that all the time, but that's what's really exciting for me.
Barger, you out here flying high? You Fly Guys?
I'm not. I am not flying high. Not for out of disrespect. It's just I kind of feel in the same way of like Owen Tippett had a really good thing going. I looked for a second, and then all of a sudden things started happening bad, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let Flyers fans enjoy this as much as possible. I will be there for the playoffs. I will, if they ever get there, I will be there for the journey beyond this. I do like the team chemistry. I really liked it. I am such a fan of Keith Jones. And like, this was, to be honest with you, when I was with him at WIP, I said the same things. I go, why the fuck isn't he running the Flyers? Because him and Al Morgani would talk puck during breaks or like 9 minutes, and they'd be talking about the deepest world junior people in the world. And then you would just automatically see them on TNT 5 years later, 6 years later. I was going, shit, these guys are good. So I was genuinely scared about, like, please don't do a bad job, because I know your brain is so smart. And that's why I'm going to let him do his thing and keep writing it in there. I do have one complaint. I don't believe we have good enough coverage in this city for the Flyers. all due respect to the people that are doing it now because they do a great job of it. But where is the excitement? Sell me on this shit. I don't need analytic charts on what the Flyers are doing. I need to know why I should care. And I feel like we do not have that beat reporter, that sounding voice, that person that just wants to drag me in for the fun. I desperately need that for the Flyers. That's my take.
Well, that's pie in the sky dream. That is like if I get to sit and talk to Jonesy for like 5 minutes, because I did bump into him, and he, I've called on radio, and I usually don't call him when he was on, but he has spoken highly of me. He's heard me, and he knows that I'm funny or whatever, and he's fine. But like when I saw him, I'm like, am I gonna get in trouble for being Black Gritty? And he's like, dude, I love you. It's really good. But he was in passing when he said it, and I don't know if he was just being polite. I really just want to sit down for 5 minutes and be like, yo, can I just go full tilt, like, and just have fun and talk about it? Because I'm trying to get some brothers in. I'm trying to have a brothers night. You know what I mean? Like when we get a bus and roll down there. Nothing against all my friends. You see my crew. I love Caucasians. You know what I mean? I love people from Mexico everywhere. You know what I mean? I'm trying to go to Brazil. I get you. But I'm saying I'm just trying to get some more brothers in the hockey because I try to like, it's just like soccer on ice, bro. We can do this thing. So, but you're right. There is a need for fun and hope and joy. And I just be poking at it. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, I put a little piece out because, like I said, I just don't want somebody from the office to come in and shut me down. And then I got to go climb the mountaintop and bang like a bear to try and get back on here with my Black Gritty stuff. But yes, it's fun to watch right now. We're happy in the city. People do have joy and excitement, and the real truthers and the diehards out there, I'm happiest most for them because at least they're breaking through in the conversation. At least people are bringing up the Flyers when they have a 2-3 game winning streak, when they are doing things and believing in the coach and believing in ownership. It makes a huge difference. So at least it's a step in the right direction. I don't want to jump off a bridge yet because I just want them to keep building. So now the Sixers, they won a game last night against the Cavaliers out here, okay, with no Tobias Harris. Now, Jason, did you watch the game last night?
I did not watch the game last night. No Tobias, no Jason. Just kidding. I would never watch if Tobias was playing.
So, Harry, did you catch? I know you're a Sixer for life. You know what I mean? Did you catch the game last night?
I caught the highlights. I didn't watch the whole game, but yeah, I caught the highlights. I mean, Buddy Hield, baby. That's what I mean. I'm confused though. I want to see where are you going to take us because I'm confused about the whole Sixers situation right now.
First of all, just to check that, Bart. I know you're a busy man. You got the family already up late. Did you get to watch any game last night?
So I took a leave of absence from the Sixers this year. I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to it. I do follow along via text and Twitter and everything else. My favorite thing in the world is everyone yells at Daryl Morey and then apologizes to him five days later. And that's exactly what happened last night.
Maybe 5 months later. I don't know. We'll see.
So, Barton, I forgot how much you annoy me. You be on the internet saying stuff that I get you on my show. This is the 4th time now you done said. Now, let me tell you something about Daryl Morey. He let my heart go. Every time I get a dog in the house, I love pit bulls. And this dude keeps calling the HOA and get my dogs out of here. And it makes me upset. I'm not talking about PJ Tucker. He wasn't no dog. I'm talking about the Pat Bad, man. He was for the city. He was for the people. And you didn't need to get rid of him. I understand why you did or whatever. Getting Buddy Hield here is cool. Guess what? We could have had Halliburton and Hield. Am I right, Jason?
That was the trade I wish we would have did.
That was a trade. Not only did you wish you did, that was a trade that was available that the Pacers did. And instead, you went out there and got your Fugazi son who didn't really believe in you and only wanted a free check and a free meal, like most children do when they don't appreciate their parents. So Daryl Morey, yeah, you did a good job getting Hield here 4 years late. And I'm surprised he's out here putting up the assists he is. He's out here being an alpha dog.
Tyrese better passer than I thought.
Didn't watch it last night. Tyrese was deferring to him late in the game, and they stuck together. I mean, some turnovers. You know what I mean? He wasn't perfect. Some turnovers. I mean, don't play no defense, but he's out there gunning and passing, and I'm happy he's here. We need to get Joel back. You took the year off. I respect that because a lot of people said they were going to. Then they came in only to talk trash when Joel Wilton Bede was out here doing the things that he was doing before he got hurt. So I respect your point. I respect your opinion, even though you just got him in there for the 4th time. I'm writing it down. Jason, don't forget what I said earlier.
We're gonna have to work on guest etiquette with you. I think we'll have to take a class or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll get it worked out.
Look, I'm just saying.
Phone calls and guest etiquette.
I'm trying to get
I
my
was gonna
life.
say we gotta show some love to Quiet. How do you know how you say this? Quiet to somebody. He just throw a few pretty great stats out there. He said Buddy Hield had 13 threes in his last 3 games, and Tobias Harris had 15 threes in his last 15 games. There it is, right there. And then that last post about Patrick Beverley 27 and 38 or whatever in the playoffs. Like, again, I feel like the vibes and things like that are maybe, again, he's not a game breaker, like you said. The vibes are great, but he's not a game breaker. So losing him for the vibes sucks. But I don't know. I mean, Buddy Hield, he did.
But like,
Yeah.
he was cool. Like,
That's all I'm saying.
No, I commented on some posts just like I just all over Instagram.
I'm just saying sometimes I just want something that makes me feel good. Okay. Yeah. Right now we're watching a team with no Joel Embiid. I'll be completely honest with you. The NBA is a trash panda product right now without Joel in it. And I'll say that not even being a Sixers fan. The stuff that he was doing, I feel like was pushing the league. Yeah. For 3 weeks, this dude was scoring 50-50. Then Maxey comes out 50-50. Next thing I know, it's Mavericks, Luka. Then it was Booker. Like, everybody's out here trying to score. Cat did it twice. Cat was like, damn, I had my night. And he went the night that Joel was off. He tried to do it again. So I feel like Joel was pushing the league for this whole, dude, everybody's scoring 150 points a night. I can get 70. So it was crazy for that moment because now that all died down. When Joel went down, I feel like the air went out of the room. Everybody's mad because they're not going to get their money the way they're supposed to. Because with this, the ruling isn't, you're losing MVP, but you're also losing all NBAs. And that's how these guys get their max contracts. So that's why I think it's not fair, because if you get dinged up and now you're losing your money, forget the accolades, to be honest with you, because as we know, some guys don't play for championships. Some guys play for legacy money to feed their family, and they are putting their body on the line as much as they possibly can, and they are injured. So something's got to change with that. There's got to be some kind of give or take, and that's not me saying that again for my guy getting the MVP. So I will say I got one more thing I want to put up there because I'm gonna let you go, Barcher, in a few minutes. I know it's past your bedtime.
Oh, no,
I appreciate
I'm good.
Oh, you good? You good? Yeah. So I found this video that was sent to me, and I'm putting it late in the show because it's like a deep cut. There's only 6 people left in here. We've been going an hour. So everybody who's still listening on the audio, I appreciate you. I love you. But go over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button for me. I know what you guys do. You listen on the audio, but trust you me, sometimes you need video in your life. I'm handsome. I took a shower today.
2 of them.
So
that's why he had the Sarah V.
Take your spot, sir.
Can you guys hear that audio?
Taylor Swift? Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah, here's how the game works. Jesus, you'll start the round by pressing start on this buzzer. Okay. And drawing a clue from the top of the pile. All right. You have to get your partner.
So nice to see them together again, by the way.
Guess the clue as quickly as possible. Then hand the buzzer off to the person on your right. Yes. Right? You can make any physical gesture. You say whatever you want. But you can't say any word on the actual clue.
Gotcha.
Charlize, you look.
Can you act it? You can act it. Though.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're looking concerned.
Can you sing?
I'm worried about the pop culture reference. Like, I don't know a lot of pop culture.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know where to fast forward to the point that I want, so I'm just going to let it play.
Okay. So then, so prepare to get
don't
annihilated.
Judge me is what I'm saying.
All right, that's
don't
cool.
Judge me if I don't
Safe
know.
space, no judgment.
Fantastic. Safe
Also,
space.
I've never played.
We're all
this,
good, Charlie.
not
We're
drunk,
good, girl.
so-
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, I got nice backstage, baby. Let's go.
All right, good. That makes 2.
Here we go.
Yep.
And, all right.
We got guys ready?
Okay.
Oh, we doing it? Okay. We got 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so there.
All
right.
We can't lose.
Yes.
Okay.
No, we won't.
Okay.
Australia. Kangaroos. Boom.
That's right.
Kangaroos. Oh, top.
Form of martial arts.
Taekwondo.
Where you have to lift your leg and
What?
and
Lift your leg. You
yes, you have to lift your leg.
Kick? Karate kick?
Yeah, punch and kick. I'm nice at these games.
Jiu-jitsu?
Kick and
Kick and punch.
oh my God, Jimmy, you're terrible.
What are you talking about? A form of martial arts where you kick people? It's kickboxing.
Is this the new Roadhouse?
That's it.
She has a very long back. Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes.
Very long back.
Insane.
So she doesn't understand. She doesn't get it.
Yeah.
I don't think Jimmy gets it either.
He's
I
probably
never
putting
get
doing the
it.
math in his head.
I'm
Like,
hysterically in the back.
How do you even know that? You're too close.
I watch a lot of TMZ.
You're too close.
We work together all the time.
Watch a lot of TMZ.
Yeah, we're gonna have to give that
Her
to you.
back is
It's
too
very
long.
long
Like,
back.
They know what I'm talking about.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, there's one. There we go. We got this.
It's very long.
Yeah.
Let's go.
By the way, are you still the only person on earth that still uses Dig?
Hey, so this video.
Oh, big. Oh my God. I was like, what are you
No,
talking about?
first of all, I told you I am from the internet. I'm part of the internet. It is woven into my brain. You think AI is good, boy? I'm deep balls deep in this stuff, bro. I find what I need to find. This video has been scrubbed from the internet.
Really?
There's only like clips of it now. Like it's
What?
off it's NBC took it down. It's not on Jimmy's archive. Like the Swifties have united, and this is body shaming or whatever, and it is
Nah.
hard to find. So this is the last holdout.
Wow.
Find this clip. So
People
I
don't
was
forget.
talking
People
to
don't forget.
Somebody like it was funny, and then they're like, "Ah, what are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh, it's on Jimmy," and they couldn't find it, so I found it, and it's just funny. Besides the point of just being on par with people and knowing each other and being really close, I thought that was hilarious, and it cracked me up the most.
She's a long lean lady. You know, it's not necessarily a
No.
negative thing. You know what I mean? But
she is tall. It's funny to me because
she is tall.
again, deep cut stuff. Now that I know that most of the people are off and not watching, I can say it. But Barcher, you're a dad. Everybody's a dad but Harry. So, you know, but Harry's around the kids. He knows the kids. He's trained kids. He's coached kids.
Yep.
So I got undated with the whole your daughter's watching you be mad at Taylor Swift. And I'm like, my daughter's also heard me say fuck Tom Brady my whole life. Like like why can't I be mad at Taylor? Like we play Taylor Swift music in the car. Like 1989, like that's my jam. Like I get it, but I just don't like it. It annoys me. And I don't hate her for it. I just hate the fact that we have to talk about it. It's a thing. My daughter also didn't like it. And I had women telling me, you need to explain to your daughter. And even though she's a feminist, I was like, so now you want me to mansplain to my daughter about her feelings towards this? Like, I mean, like, what do you mean? Like, she is a woman. She doesn't like it. It's her choice to feel that way. And I got the whole, well, you're a dad and how do people look at you? And then I tweeted out and Jason saw it. I think I put it out on Twitter, but another female friend hit me up and she was like, would you let your daughter date Travis Kelce? And I'm like, for what? Like, what do you mean? They're like, he's out of control. He's raging out on the sideline. And I was like, you know what? What do the daughters think of that? I didn't even think about that. You know what I mean? Like, so again, perception. And I went back to the same person that posed the question to me about that. And they were like, I don't want to get into the psychology and psyops. So I was like, oh, so when it's something you want to push for women and feminists and what they need to have and know and do, it's a conversation. Somebody else who's obviously been in a different spectrum and scope of the world sees it differently, and we can't have the conversation. I'm not even saying I think Kelsey's an abusive dude, but to a woman who might have been abused or seen abuse, you look at that kind of behavior at your job, and it's the second time this year, and he got his little squabble in per camp. I was like, I never even thought of that. It's a conversation. But again, with the whole who's passionate, who cares enough versus the diva and the deviant and the locker killer and the locker room killer, like the vibe killer, like we pick and choose these things. I would prefer that we treated them all the same. Passions run high. You're excitable. You know what I mean? We've seen Kelsey do it. When AJ did it this year, we crucified him. I mean, what's the guy from the wide receiver? Giants on the Ravens now.
Odell Beckham.
Odell Beckham. Besides his dad being crazy, he fought a net, and we killed this guy for it. He didn't go against a player. He didn't go with his quarterback. He didn't go with the coach. He literally fought a net and lost. We said he was unhinged and needed therapy and all this kind of stuff. So I just want to keep the same energy for players and their passions. Barcher, how do you feel about the passion running high in games?
I mean, yes. To me, the question is just like not you. What you're asking is absurd, but like the notion that you've got to explain the passion of a star player and a Hall of Fame head coach going, you know what I can fucking do, knock it off, is just part of the sport, part of any sport. If it was Rihanna, Beyonce, anybody in a high pressure situation where they're trying to be at the top of their game and they're yelling at the whoever it is, it's the same thing. Like, Taylor Swift probably yells her ass off at the sound people, whatever's the band. That note was off. Who's playing a fucking flat? Like, do you understand what we're doing here? You know, that shit happens all of the time. So it happened this season with the other Kelsey brother yelling at Nick Sirianni and A.J. Brown and everybody else on the offense. But I don't understand why it was even a thing. It's because 124 million people saw it in the first quarter, like, put it out. You know, like, it's Travis Kelce. He's one of 5 of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game. So, like, it's warranted during that situation.
Jason, how do you feel about it? Keep in mind that if you bump me in my own show, in my own studio, I will fight you.
You will hit the ground. Just know that. I've never seen a guy bump a coach like that when they're that pissed off, but I don't think he intentionally did it either. He was definitely pissed off, and I think, I went out, didn't I?
No, you're good.
There you go.
My headphones went out. That was weird. All right, sorry about that. So when he stepped close, I think Reed kind of moved, and all of a sudden he bumped into him, and that shit was an accidental bump. Those games are stressful, man. I couldn't imagine playing in the Super Bowl and only having 1 yard at the time when you know you're better than that, and being taken off the field in the key spot and watching somebody fumble. Like, you're there to win that shit, not to play games and be nice.
Yeah. Harry?
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, and the pressure of the Super Bowl, of being Taylor Swift's boyfriend, all these different things on Travis Kelce there. I do think that, in the moment, you have to remember, like, and again, not we, but like the casual fans or the people that are coming into like sports fandom. Yes, obviously these are human beings, right? And whenever like, haha, you're mad, it's like, okay, you're doing that about a human, whatever. But that's how sports are, right? If I'm not a fan of a team and somebody like Odell Beckham Jr. has a hissy fit, and I'll frame it as like, wow, he's mad, right? But I'm not going to crucify him as that he shouldn't have emotion, right? I'm going to definitely frame it in that way. But Travis Kelce, same thing. In the moment, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm kind of like hating on the Chiefs a little bit, even though I was rooting for them to win. So I'm kind of like, fuck you for bumping Randy Reed. But at the same time, of course, he's a professional football player. The situation's crazy to be in. And Andy Reid knows that. Andy Reid's been around football for however long, he's been around, 30, 40 years, whatever it is, probably longer. People that think that Andy Reid is mad about this are, barking up the wrong tree, because he is probably like, we just won the fucking Super Bowl. I'm good. That was fine. I moved on from that. And guess what? Andy Reid called a great game after that as a head coach and offensive coordinator. So, I mean, it's totally overblown. And I think I do agree that, though, Black Gritty, you gotta keep the same energy for everybody. Again, frame it a little bit, maybe, if you're kind of doing the fandom sort of thing, but don't bring in sort of kind of like, oh, this person can do it, but this person can't. So,
well, that was my biggest problem with it. I'm like, you almost drop kicked a friggin' 92-year-old man who's rotund. Like, if he was Shanahan, he would have went into the third row. If Andy Reid's a big man, so he absorbed that. That was like a check. Like, he checked Andy. Like, he
stumbled like an old man a little bit.
Yeah, he did. And that's what got me. I'm like, bro, I'm about to fight you. Like, I know he's not my coach no more, but I mean, he gave me a lot of joy. Like, I feel like that's like my uncle or something. I'm like, yo, bro, don't like, that's the part that got me really upset. But again, I want the same energy. So, Barcher, we got one more segment. I'm gonna let you get out of here.
Real quick on that too, just for the context of it though.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes just threw a fuck you ball the play before to get all the way down the field after getting incredibly shut out the first 2 possessions that they had. And Isaiah Pacheco fucking fumbles it like an idiot. Of course, yes, I would be livid if I was Travis Kelce. Yes, I would be like, God damn it. The frustration's already mounted by that point. So, yeah, sorry, Greta. Go ahead, bud.
Noted, everyone is checking old people at the grocery store when they use a check instead of using the debit card. I got it. Everybody's just out here checking pop-up. I get it. You know what I mean?
Quiet zone.
Get him a cheeseburger on the way out. You guys are just deadly animals. Like I said, somebody check me up in here. We're going to have a problem. That's all I'm letting.
I mean, Mahomes got into it with Rice later on in the game, too, when he missed Rice for that game with a touchdown.
And that's, again, it was just a checking of it and my feelings toward the end. But like I said, normally I don't care. I want all the same energy being put out there. So, Barcher, you were laying down the law with some movies and stuff earlier. I don't know what you know about fighting, but we don't know anything. That's why we brought Harry here. Besides his good looks and his handsomeness and being my little brother, we do keep him around for something else that's like sports related to his knowledge. So, Harry, UFC 98's coming up. What are the fights you're looking forward to the most on this card? And let me know.
UFC 298 coming up. So as we kind of alluded on some other shows recently, there's 298, 299, then the big one 300, nice round number coming up. I talked about how there's still not a main event for 300, and that's kind of weird because of how stacked 298 and 299 are. And so this whole main card, usually there's 5 or 6 fights on a main card. There's about 5 on this one. The top 4 fights on the main card are all going to be absolute bangers with implications of either championship fights or #1 contender fights, or maybe like I would say these guys are 1 or 2 fights away below the champions. So you see the main event, Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. So I did mention on a show a few weeks ago that no UFC champion or person the age of 35 or older has ever won in a fight. I forgot to add in the caveat that it's 155 pounds and below. The heavyweights can stay old and just rock each other and kind of keep it going. The technical skills aren't as important, but Volkanovski is pound for pound one of the greatest fighters of all time. Like definitely potential GOAT legacy, pushing John Jones, pushing George St. Pierre if he can win this and maybe 1 or 2 more defenses. Ilia Topuria, though, this is such a Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo situation of that 13-second knockout years ago when Conor McGregor was talking shit like crazy, and then he did exactly what he said he was going to do against a champion that was the #1 pound-for-pound fighter for 10 years. Like Ilia Topuria has already changed his Instagram bio to being 15-0 in the featherweight champion of the UFC. He said it's going to be the easiest fight of his career. Like he's just disrespecting this guy that is like an all-time elite great. And I honestly don't know who's going to win. Like Ilia Topuria, his boxing is disgusting. He's got probably the best boxing in the UFC. His defense is crazy. He just fought a guy in Josh Emmett. I'm going a little longer on this than I meant to for this particular fight, but it's just very exciting. He fought this guy, Josh Emmett, a few weeks ago. If you look at Josh Emmett's most recent fight, he absolutely slept one punch this guy at 145 pounds named Bryce Mitchell. Ilia Topuria 50-42'd Josh Emmett in his last fight. So typically there's 5 rounds. 50-45 would be losing 10-9 every round. 50-42 he got on one of the judges' scorecards against an absolute power puncher. Ilia, I think I'm leaning towards Ilia, which is crazy to say, but I really had no idea that Aldo could potentially ever lose, and he got slept, and this might be that situation. 35 years old. Ilya's like 27, I want to say. It's going to be an incredible fight. Going to the next fight, Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. Whittaker was the champion at 185 before Israel Adesanya became champion. Really close fight against Izzy in their second fight. Kind of could have gone either way, but he just got knocked out actually in his last fight by the current champion, Dricus du Plessis. I know that Black Birdie loves that name. That's a great one. Dricus du Plessis, yeah. So Whittaker got knocked out. He definitely took him a little bit lightly. So it's going to be incredible to say because for about 5 years plus, everyone said that besides Izzy, Robert's the guy, right? And now Paulo Costa, roided out, kind of looking figure, but I mean, they do test these guys. He trolls about it too. He's hilarious. He always has this special juice that he kind of like labels with just Sharpie, and it makes people kind of enjoy that. But I'm leaning Robert Whittaker because of just the technical skills. But again, this is going to be an absolute banger. I think Costa's got the strength and the power to put anybody away. But he did kind of have he won the fight against Luke Rockhold, who was a veteran in his last fight, easily. But he got hit a little bit, and he's a little bit sloppier, and Rob's got the technical skills, and I think he's going to be hungry to bounce back. The last 2 real quick on this main card, Jeff Neal, Ian Machado Gary. Ian Machado Gary, if you follow fighting, has been in the news because he tried to meet Conor McGregor. He tries to talk, but he's really cringy and annoying, and a lot of people hate him for that.
Yes, he's really weird.
Really weird. And his whole legacy, or not legacy, but his whole storyline right now is that basically his wife, who's like 10 years older than him or 20 years older than him, maybe even, she's a dime. She's a dime for sure, Brazilian dime. He took her last name as his middle name. If you couldn't figure that out, Machado is not his natural middle name. But basically, she wrote a book like 10 years ago called How to Be a WAP, which is like, or not WAG, sorry, a WAG. she knows that's step 1 of how to be a WAG, is have a WAP. So that's step 1. But she wrote a book on how to be a WAG, and that's called like Wife of like an Athlete or something. I forget exactly what it stands for. But the whole book is about like, for bagging young, athletes that are going to become and making a lot of money, and then you kind of have that set for life situation with them. And so everyone is just destroying, Gary for being a cuck and all this stuff. It's pretty hilarious. A WAP helps, absolutely, Kate. Yeah, definitely. So it's kind of one of those things where like he's super talented. He does have this like they fight at 170, not 145, which is what McGregor fought at on his come up. But Jeff Neal, his nickname is Hands of Steel, and I'm really hoping he puts Machado away. I think it's going to be a close fight. Machado's never been tested against this one, at this level of this kind of ranking. Man, I really am so badly want Machado to get fucked up that I am leaning Jeff Neal. but it's a toss up, and I think it's right that Machado is the favorite. -245 is pretty big, but that's a correct line. But I do like Jeff Neal as that underdog, big dog there. So this last one on the main card, it's not the last fight of the main card, but it's the last one I'll talk about right now. But Merab Dvalishvili, who fights out of like Long Island, New York. He's got a lot of like just like guys that remind me of Philadelphia guys. Just kind of like they have that thick Long Island accent. They love Merab to death. He's just that guy. His training partner is Aljamain Sterling, who was recently knocked out by Sugar Sean O'Malley to lose the 135-pound belt. Merab has been this guy that's on like a 10-fight win streak, just destroys everybody. His nickname is the Machine. He just goes forever. Henry Cejudo is arguably, I wouldn't say he is, but arguably the greatest combat sports athlete of all time. He's a gold medalist at the Olympics in wrestling, and he's a 2-division champion in the UFC. He's not currently the champion, but that fight is going to be a number one contender fight for who's going to fight the winner of Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Cheeto Vera next week. So, or the following pay-per-view, excuse me. So big implications, really interesting storylines. If anyone out there is trying to laugh, go find Merab Dvalishvili's Instagram account. He has a great just kind of breakdown of like the rankings and how all these people are calling each other out and why they fight each other. And he just talks a lot of shit, and it's really funny. So tune in this weekend.
Ariel Helwani needs to fucking check his job. Jesus Christ. That was amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, Ariel, I would love to get on that show one day. That'd be cool, but appreciate it.
Harry, I will listen to any MMA podcast. I'm a casual can be.
Right.
I'm like very interested in 298 now.
I appreciate that.
So in the comments, somebody asked if the women's situation has any juice. Last episode, we talked heavy on the ladies. So if you want to hear about the ladies, we talked about the ladies heavy.
I know we're not going to talk about the whole thing, but the featured prelim, as they call it, so it's the last fight before the main card pay-per-view starts. You have to buy it. The featured prelim is Amanda Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern. Amanda Lemos just had she's one of the most explosive. She's like weighs 125, and she's like Tyson. I mean, she literally explodes, and you have fear. I mean, it's that type of thing. But she did just lose to the champion. That was a tense fight, but she got beat. But Mackenzie Dern is like a jiu-jitsu specialist, so it's like opposite styles. That's a fight I'm excited for before the main card. So Mackenzie Dern and Amanda Lemos, if you're looking for a ladies card fight.
And just in general, like if you're on audio, like I said, a lot of you guys are, it's bouts between number 2, number 3, 8 and 10, 3 and 6, the champion versus number 3 in the world. So this is like you said, it's like, man, this is a good lineup for it not being the rounded number of 300. So if you're into it, if you're not into it, you want to check out something different, go check it out.
If you don't want to pay for it, there's some things out there. You can find it. I don't want to say it out here, but you can find something. The
internet is the internet. So
hit me up some on Instagram. I'll tell you what the links are for the streams.
Jason, say goodbye to the people.
Bye, everybody. Wags, wife and girlfriend.
Oh, that's why I keep Jason around. I mean, somebody send that book to IU.
I wasn't lying. Yeah, yo.
Say goodbye to the people, Harry.
Peace, everybody.
So it's just you and me, Barger.
Ooh.
Get your dukes up. And for everybody who hung around this late, I might even clip it and put it at the beginning of the show because you deserve the honor and the respect. What do you want me to throw the links in the comments for you besides you directly? I know you got a lot of things going on. You're helping a lot of businesses, a lot of podcasts, a lot of content creators. And, I appreciate the stuff you're doing out there because a lot of people do need that help. I mean, you reached out to me and you gave me a couple of good ideas. I gave you a couple of good ideas where men of a certain ilk, and I appreciate you. So what do you want to throw up there for the people? Let people know.
Well, I tell you what, can I play you a clip from my phone of what I'm working on right now? It's 13 seconds. I just want to tell you this. This is the greatest sports story, period. This isn't like, oh, I'm hyping this up because, we're working with them or whatever. I want to tell you about the Dorking Wanderers, who are 45 minutes outside of London. It's like you and I starting a football team in Conshohocken and have the ability to one day play the Philadelphia Eagles because that's how the Premier League works out there. There's like 20 different levels. This is the greatest owner-manager in sports. His name is Mark White. They just went full-time as a club this year and had a really, really important game tonight. And this is when you found pure sports again. In the first 13 seconds here.
1-0 victory against York City tonight. Manager Mark White. Sum that up.
Well, how'd you like them apples, motherfuckers? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, James, yeah.
I've never heard a manager-owner say, how about them apples, you motherfuckers, to all the critics that said they were going to lose this game and carry on. So I'm helping them. I would actually love it if you could find your heart and follow them anywhere you see them, either on Twitter, on Instagram. It's incredible. Like, Mark has taken this team from a beer league team to like the 5th tier of the Premier League. It's over since 1999, and I'm working with them and a group called Sports Supporter Ventures, which is now one of the new owners of the club, and they just happen to be in Philadelphia. It's been the time of my life, and it's actually one of the reasons why I had to chill on the Eagles this season, and they obliged by being really, really shitty. So, like, it's been an incredible, 9 months with them, and I think it's the greatest sports story that's going right now. So I'd love that out as much as possible.
I brought you back, Jason, because you are teaching the youth soccer. You coach soccer. You got the youth. You're out there with our local league and the young kids. I need you to put the kids onto this. You know what I mean? Get some young fans, local fans out here rooting, corrupt the children, corrupt the parents. You know what I mean? The foul language, the kids will line up right in line for it. You know what I mean? Your son, my nephew, is right around the age where he can handle it. So just go out there and corrupt.
He's heard it once or twice.
Yeah. I mean, definitely go spam the youth with the soccer, because I'm trying to get back into soccer again. Like, when it's funny because, like, you know how things are, like you said, like when you're into something, it's hard to watch everything else. You know what I mean? Like it is one of those things. And like, even now, like, you're trying to like parse out time to what you want to get into, which is why, like, I love Harry being on and being passionate about fighting UFC, because I used to love boxing. I used to love UFC, and I, now it's more UFC than boxing at all. But soccer is it is a pure thing. It is something that it kills me, because as soon as it gets like the high school level, the kids drop off. Because like I said, Jason's been coaching. How long you been coaching the kids for?
Well, I'm on my 3rd team now, but almost 20 years.
Yeah, almost 20 years. And it's just like, those kids come through the mill and they're in love with the sport. They're in love with the game. And then once they hit high school, you get too many options that are free. You know what I mean? So kids kind of gravitate towards what's cool or sexy, or what their frame fills them out for, or what coaches are trying to go get them for. But soccer is one of those things. It's like little league. Like, it's just so pure, and it's the purest sport you have, even in the majors, I feel like, because it is an equal playing field. It is just a common game. You need a ball and you need a net. It's not, you don't need a court. The weather doesn't have to be perfect. You know what I mean? It can't be ice and snow, but you could get out there, and anybody all over the globe can play this game. That's why it is the biggest global sport. So I'm happy that you brought them up. I'm going to check them out. The owner already got me. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a straight shooter and you talking the way you talk, that stuff like that gets me.
Yeah, his name is Mark White, by the way, and he will do the same thing to the fans, because they'll yell shit like, you got women's pants. It's like, oh, it's your fucking mothers, or whatever it is, and like goes after the refs. It's that part is cool, but like I'm not even, I wouldn't even consider myself a soccer fan, to be honest with you. That's how good it is. Like, the story of the team is that interesting, and the more and more I understand about English soccer and the pyramid levels and all that, it is pure. Like, Jerry Jones is an asshole, because every time you buy a fucking Cowboys jersey, it doesn't end up on the field. It ends up in his bank account. And you could probably say that for 31 other owners here. Over there, you have to put it on the field. It's mandatory. Like, all of you, if the merchandise that I buy for the Dorking Wanderers gets them another player next year, that is possible through fandom. That doesn't happen here. That's why I don't think it's that tangible. Just like, oh, wow, I can really affect that club by buying a hat, by buying a shirt, by doing whatever, because they take all of that money and it carries over when they get to the next level. And you can only have as much as your revenue is making. So it's just like, why aren't we doing this here? I think Adam Silver is slowly trying to get us to a pyramid system with the NBA, which it desperately needs. And if someone, like, guys, how cool would it be to own our own sports franchise in America without a billionaires club? And that's it's all people's money. So I just, it made me really turn my eyes into like how not fun American sports is, and until it gets a little better, I want to follow this and see where it goes. If this guy can take a dog shit 17,000 town to the pyramid, like the top of the Premier League in 10 years, I'm gonna be crying because it's the people's fucking team. Like it's pure. It is pure as pure can be.
Well, I brought Harry back because you got him. I kicked him off. He was walking around with the laptop, and then he started talking, and he sat back down, and he had a smile on his face. Because Harry, if you don't know, Harry is a vibe guy. He is about local. He is about building. And so you got him with the story. You got me with the story, and you got me with the I don't know nothing about him. I'm gonna go buy something just because I know it goes directly to them. And little things like that do matter. And the few people that buy my little Black Gritty shirts, a week later, I send them a handwritten card and a sticker, and I just say thank you because, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to make $1 million. I'm just happy you're wearing my shirt and you're putting it out there in the ethos. And when you said what you said today on a day when I did bring up the Flyers, and I was disgusted by the fact that they made a jacket that was $850.
Oh my God, that pissed me off too.
The Princess Di jacket was $400, which again, it's the Princess Di jacket. You don't put it out that often. Whatever. I get it because it's the Eagles. You're the number. But for the Flyers to put out a nice, clean, sexy jacket for $850, and then I hear a story like what you just said, and I see Harry sit back down, and I'm like, that is what's wrong with sports, because you do want to support a team. You do want to love a team. He brought up the what's the guy's name? Druskowskis. I'm naming my dog after this guy. I don't even.
Duplessis.
He told me about Duplessis, and I just been on Duplessis. Like, I'm about to get his name tatted on my chest. When somebody gives you a story or gives you something that you can latch on to, you want to believe in them. And what you just said is what every team starts out being. At some point in time, they were some guy who owned a shoe factory and wanted to buy a team that didn't do anything, and they needed you to be in the stands. The hot dogs were always 50 cents or $1 because that money went back into building up the thing. And now in the world where they take our tax dollars and they put up stadiums and you can't get a ticket, if something I buy contributes to the team getting better, then that means that fandom can grow and watch their team grow and be better because they're not just coffering it and put it in their pockets. So I will support them. I support you. I appreciate you putting that out in ethos, not shelving for yourself. I'm still going to link all your stuff personally too, because that's how we roll. We went long today. I appreciate you. Jason did a great job. Harry did a great job. As my guest, John Barchi Bucci, baby, you made me upset 4 times. Did give me Green Dragon, which we're going to watch. And we got next game. We got Youngbloods. We got some homework for the kids to do, and we're going to get it done. I appreciate you coming on, brother.
Thank you so much, man. Please, anytime. And as soon as the Eagles pod gets back going, which there'll be news on that shortly, I want you on there too. I think you're one of the most dynamic voices in Philly sports, and I don't mean that lightly. I wouldn't have taken you out to breakfast otherwise. I think you need to keep what you're doing. I think you should tell the radio to go fuck itself when it comes calling, because I know it's going to. Keep your economy here. Please go support this man so he doesn't have to take any dirty oil money or soda money or whatever the hell else they're shoving through there. And seriously, man, you're going to make it. You are so talented. It's unbelievable.
I appreciate you. I love you. That's why I'm out here using Black Gritty, a.k.a. Black McAfee. And that's why I have Jason and young lions like Harry here, because if I don't make it, somebody going to make it. And I guarantee you they got to take me along with them because we family.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you guys.